to this warlock in the tower because he killed my brother and I need to murder him. Whatever, just like the characters need to
but the
move
warlock
plot.
is his brother.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Spoilers alert. Spoiler alert, unless you might have that coming up.
What?
Warlock brothers.
Ooh, we just made that up.
Yeah, I know we just made that up.
So how are you spoiling it?
All right, man.
Welcome to Monsters and Multiclass, your weekly Dungeons & Dragons fix between your play sessions. I'm Kevin Odie.
I'm Jared Bornigal.
And I'm Will Melden.
And we'll be hanging out with you for the next hour to talk about anything and everything D&D related. In this episode, we'll be diving into the Ranger Warlock, the best optimized multiclass option around, clearly, and then the Neolithid from Volo's Guide to Monsters. So grab a seat and hang around. Jared, we already did the joke of fading into one of us singing. That was my joke from like 2 episodes ago, dude.
We should keep that consistent.
Just singing a song that is not our actual intro song.
Welcome to Monsters and Multiclass, the choir podcast that has nothing to do with D&D.
I was an orchestra.
Clearly.
I took choir in 7th and 8th grade because I had to.
Fucking
I don't think people want to hear us sing.
absolute loser tier stuff right there. Winners went into orchestra.
I'm not going to get into my choir history, though it is extensive.
So you were in a band at one point.
Yeah.
Would you like to share that band name?
Nope.
With the audience so the girl look you up?
Nope. I don't even know if you can find anything.
Yeah.
Find my media
Was
flyer.
that like a high school thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
High school, early college. So the best of years for creative writing.
Oh, yes. All right, so, yes, Ranger Warlock.
Yeah. This is going to be a good time. Usual first impressions. I'm going to start with Will. You seem super excited.
Well, we've got another essentially con dump character with more options for range damage that just don't make any sense. As a warlock, you're basically doomed to most of your time being an Eldritch Blast faucet. That's really what it is in combat. As a ranger, what are you getting? It's like, oh, I don't use my bow now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you're gaining too much. The only thing I could think of is with all those Eldritch Invocations from Warlock, you can at least not have to use those for Eldritch Blast stuff, but it always kind of feels like that's your best bet anyways.
Yeah, you're losing.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows your stats are not exactly going to be off the charts here, because it's going to be another multi-attribute dependent class. So you got to flesh it out with the Warlock stuff.
So
Those attributes being what? 13 Dex, 13 Charisma, 13 Wisdom?
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's a con dump, but I mean, we also don't need strength even a little bit, even for any skills, honestly. Yeah. Don't need intelligence for anything besides skills.
No one's ever needed intelligence.
Right. So it's not con dump, it's just not going to be your main attribute, which, honestly, most of the time it's not unless you're playing a barbarian.
Half of our characters always go high con.
Well, yeah, because it is
because
the best.
We just make a lot of mistakes. And Constitution is a great way to avoid mistakes actually mattering.
It's a little padding on your mistakes.
And some really good saves when they come up. I know they're not the most frequent saves, but
it's also just so unsatisfying to have a negative con modifier.
Right.
Roll your health, you get a 4. Oh, no, actually 3 health.
Yeah.
There you get.
Sorry, it's negative.
Yeah.
Should have gone with the given 5 every time.
Given half.
Whatever.
Yeah, not 5.
Half plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Ranger Warlock, I struggle a bit with it. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tough one. I have a couple ideas we could dive into, but Jared, what are your general thoughts?
My general thoughts is this is gonna suck. If I'm being totally honest. So let's just skip past all that and get right into some ideas. Do you have any RP stuff? Can we start there?
Yeah, I mean, with RP, that's easy enough with a Warlock, where their source of their power is creating some sort of pact with an otherworldly being. So there's absolutely no reason a Ranger, someone who's survives out in the wild or they hunt monsters for a living or anything like that and has that skill set for whatever reason needs to approach some otherworldly powerful being to try and get some being, not bean.
Beans.
Some otherworldly beans.
Delicious.
Yes. To try and get some boon from them, some sort of power, out of desperation or whatever. There's a million ways you could spin that off.
First thing that comes to mind for me is if you do the Monster Hunter Ranger, where like you get the favorite enemy and everything. It's like you are committing your life to tracking down this certain type of thing, and so because of that, you want to get some extra power from your otherworldly patron, whatever that is, and make it easier to hunt these things down.
Yeah.
But you probably would be better off just continuing your studies and being a ranger or completely dismissing them and going right into Warlock. But, that's unimportant.
People make mistakes. Huge gravity of selling your soul to a devil notwithstanding. Everybody makes a dumb decision every now and then.
Like
Getting
taking
drunk.
levels in Ranger.
Taking levels in Ranger.
We always give Ranger a lot of crap. It could be a fun class. It's just a lot of it seems lackluster. And an interesting thing, anytime we seem to approach multi-classing it never seems to work well. If you have to really feel like we found a multi-class with Ranger where it's like, wow, this is great. These just fit together. Probably Fighter could be that just because it kind of fits with anything. But we'll deal with that when that one comes up. And then another kind of interesting point along that is, out of all of the classes, Ranger is probably the one you'll want to multi-class the most because they just drop off so much at high levels, as we've talked about in previous episodes. I think our Ranger Wizard one.
Yeah, basically after 8th level, do they really get anything?
As soon as you hit level 8, you just don't get any more things as a ranger.
I mean, nothing great, to be honest.
Is that what where the class specific stuff comes in? Or
subclass? I mean, that comes in all around. They have a Ranger archetype feature at 15th, but I can't think of any of their 15th ones being like even a little bit
good.
Really?
Yeah, they get the Monster Hunter one, Slayer's counter. If you target your Slayer's prey, forces you to make a saving throw. You can use your reaction to make a weapon attack against the quarry. You make this attack immediately before making the save. If the attack hits, you automatically succeed. Like that's the Monster Hunter one. So you like the Monster Hunter, one of their first things.
That's in
get
Xanthars?
Oh,
okay.
They get Slayer's prey, which is kind of like their built-in Hunter's Mark in a sense.
Right.
And then if they have it on something, so that's really good. The Hunters get decent stuff too. Yeah, you could get evasion, stand against the tide, uncanny dodge, stuff like that.
So my argument against evasion being good is that that's at 15th level, where everything else that gets evasion in the game, we're talking like
7.
2 for...
No, it's not that low. I'm pretty sure it's 7.
No, you're right,
evasion,
7.
Yeah, it's like 7 for rogues.
Yeah, 7 for rogues, and then monks get it too at some pretty low level. Point is, they don't have to go up to level 15 just to get something that gets them automatic success on decks.
No, you're right.
So definitely not worth going up to that.
Stand against the tide. So the Hunter one, they have each one of their levels at 3rd, 7th, 11th, and 15th. You pick one of 3 options, generally one of 3. So one of the other ones at 15, stand against the tide. When a hostile creature misses you, you could use your reaction to force that creature to repeat the same attack against another creature.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, if you're surrounded, which...
Yeah, and then they have uncanny dodge, which is like a level 5 rogue ability.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
In general,
Level
a
8.
high-level ranger is just a low-level rogue with spellcasting. Yeah, they're a half rogue. I'm sticking to that one.
Half rogues.
Yeah.
So, back to the original point. They're the class that you want to feel... They seem to have the strongest need to multi-class in them. Almost every other class, there's something for sticking it out. This one, not so much. But then you look to, all right, what am I going to multi-class into? And it's like, nothing really fits.
You can multi-class into just not being a ranger.
Yeah.
Man, we're really down on rangers today, though.
We are. I don't know. With the player handbook ranger, I don't like it. The hunter subclass of it is fun, but as we were just talking, as you get higher, it really drops off.
The Beastmaster is absolutely terrible.
Yes. But there's so much potential for flavor there, where if you're ignoring mechanics and optimization and all that, one thing with the multiclassing with a Warlock is so you're the Beastmaster Ranger and you have your longtime life friend, animal companion, kind of stereotypical stuff there. And then for whatever reason, you end up in this pact with some fiend or devil or whatever. Maybe they trick you into it because you're naive. And you do, what's it called? The one where you get a familiar.
Pact of the Chain.
Yeah, so then you get that intelligent familiar from it as well, and so then you have this lovable beast companion who's probably like chaotic good or something, and then this lawful evil, neutral evil, chaotic evil, like Quasit or something like that.
Yeah, the Quasit was fun because it like could essentially just cause torment, and up to your DM how far they want to go with that. But if you didn't keep your eye on it, it could cause some problems. I could see that being cool because then it's basically the angel and devil on your shoulder.
Exactly, but neither of them can actually really talk, and they're
you can communicate telepathically with your familiar at some level.
You can communicate. It's not like they're like, hey,
Right.
Yeah.
set that on fire, and then your dog's like, woof.
So then,
Don't set that on fire.
so they try and like nudge you into things with. So it could be like a cute little.
Yeah, I could see that being cool. As for mechanically speaking, I'm pretty sure if we went the Warlock, what's the blade one? Somebody remind me. Should be
Pact of the Blade or Hexblade?
Hexblade.
The Xanathar's one.
Yeah, if you went Hexblade and Ranger, I could honestly see those two having some synergy. Just because you can at least be like a melee Ranger. And as the Hexblade Warlock, you're not really relying on Eldritch Blast nearly as much as you normally would. So I could see those two working out. I mean, Hexblade really is just a good mix with any melee class. I haven't found one where it really sucks.
Yeah, assuming you have charisma. That's the whole thing. It replaces your attack with charisma, the attack modifier.
Right, which isn't.
Wait, is
really
it
a huge
replace or
problem.
add to?
No, it's replace. You can use it in place of whatever you normally would for that weapon.
An interesting thing with the Hexblade. So you have your Hex weapon that where it's like you bond with that weapon in a certain way, and that's what gives you the ability to swap out your charisma modifier and some other benefits and stuff that it gives you. As written in there, it says it can't be a two-handed weapon and it has to be a melee weapon. But then at the very end of it, it has a sentence where if later on you get the Pact of the Blade feature, whatever your blade weapon is can be your Hexblade weapon as well, regardless of the stats.
Okay.
And then, so Pact of the Blade is where there's kind of this awkward overlap there. I think Hexblade was Wizards of the Coast somewhat trying to fix Pact of the Blade and make a better melee Warlock.
Which was weird, but yeah.
So there's a little weird overlap, but Pact of the Blade is, again, you bond with a particular weapon and you get some benefits. You could call it to you and stuff like that. And then in one of the Xanathar's Eldritch invocations that Warlocks get at level 2 is Improved Blade Weapon. And it says it allows... You know what? I'm basically there. I'm just going to pull it up. Improved Pact Weapon. You can now use any weapon you summon with your Pact of the Blade feature as a spellcasting focus, so that's cool. In addition, the weapon gains a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, unless it's already magic. And finally, your weapon that you conjure could be a short bow, long bow, light crossbow, or heavy crossbow. So you could play a Hexblade Warlock with a longbow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that kind of works.
Yeah, which is interesting. And then if you're focusing on the... Yeah, fine with the longbow, you don't just have to be, as Will said, what you say, an Eldritch Blast Faucet.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now you're just like some kind of spooky version of the Ranger. There's not
then
a
it
whole
opens
lot
up.
there. It is the only real combination I see. And you can definitely mix that with Gloomstalker and whatever edgy flavor of Ranger
Right.
you want.
Yeah.
Be the true, like, butchered version of both classes.
I think this is a multi-class combination you would take for flavor.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to make the most out of it, though, so if you're not focused on Eldritch Blast, that really opens up for a lot of different Eldritch invocations, and there's a lot of cool flavor there. Just like a 2-level dip in the Warlock for a few of these, just to match with whatever you're going with for your class, because there's a bunch of them. But then Gloomstalker, which is all about being in the darkness, and if someone uses dark vision to see you, you're invisible, and benefits for hiding in and all that. Matches really well with Devil's Sight, one of the Eldritch invocations where you can now see through magical darkness, the darkness spell.
Right.
So that's a really cool combination, and you can still do that as the Hexblade.
Yeah, that's really good. I think it's one thing that's nice with, again, this Hexblade is that you can take medium armor, so you don't have to rely on mage armor, which is an Eldritch Invocation to let you have that for free every day.
Can't Rangers wear medium armor, or is that just light?
They can, so I guess it really doesn't matter if it's Hexblade, but my point is you don't need mage armor, and you can always take that defense fighting style for Ranger, which you get at level 2. Otherwise, they don't really have any good fighting styles that go with them. They get archery, +2 bonus to attack rolls with ranged weapon. Dueling, which is just wielding a one-handed melee weapon. That could work, but it kind of sounded like we're leaning towards maybe going with a two-handed or a bow later on. And 2-weapon fighting is for dual wielding. So defense is a good safe one where you just get a +1 bonus to AC when wearing armor. You're at least not having something wasted there. And medium armor, of course, isn't going to be super high. Your dex might not be super high. Though I feel like dex we could get pretty high up there. Just dex,
You'd
super
want
charisma.
dex to be pretty up there.
Yeah, you don't really need to worry about wisdom too much. You're just
not
going to...
really.
I mean, I feel like most of the ranger spells you're going to want to take are going to be utility over damage.
That's usually the case with ranger spells.
Right.
They have a handful where they can modify their weapon, like their ranged attack, like add elemental damage, but then the rest of them are pretty much just utility.
Right.
And then if, go in Warlock, so you get those extra, 2 spells, which you get back on a short rest, which is kind of nice. And
Right. I mean, as long as most of it... I mean, Hexblade gives you a lot of really good expanded spells. Honestly, I love the Hexblade Warlock so much. It's just so consistent. But even at first level, you get Shield and Wrathful Smite. Wrathful Smite, I mean, whatever. Wrathful, Wrathful, doesn't matter. It's not something you're really going to use too often, I feel like, as a Warlock. Mm-hmm. Just because, whatever, it's a Smite. It is nice having that bonus action spell, though, every once in a while. Very infrequently.
Sure.
Shield more important, though. Shield, Blur.
yeah, Shield's great.
All that stuff.
Yeah. And then instead of just having the 2 slots to cast, you then have some of the ranger slots to cast it as well. But again, they would get, if that's how you're looking at it, a Warlock's going to get more benefit of multi-classing with another full caster to get more of those slots. So it's kind of stretching.
So a Warlock can cast its spells using the other spellcaster's slots. It just has to be at that level then it's cast at, instead of being like a normal Warlock spell where it's just at the highest cast.
I think so. Crap, I forgot that they have different... We should have looked that up beforehand.
We always have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Because it's it actually gets called out. It's very weird.
Yeah, Pact Magic. So if you have both the Spellcasting class feature, which a Ranger has, and the Pact Magic class feature from the Warlock class, you can use the spell slots you gain from the Pact Magic feature to cast spells you know or have prepared from classes with the Spellcasting class feature.
Okay, so to stop
and you
there...
could use... Hold on. And you can use the spell slots you gain from the Spellcasting class feature to cast Warlock spells you know.
So it goes both ways.
Yes.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. I could see that being semi-useful.
Sure. And Ranger is not the best pick for that, though.
No.
No.
But flavor-wise. Okay, so flavor-wise, we have a ranger who really wants to hunt down a certain type of thing. And so they sell their soul to the devil or look for really deep knowledge in old books. And that's it. Well, I guess, the Beastmaster and the Familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Sure.
I do think that one's a really interesting character concept.
Yeah.
It's not going to be great mechanically speaking, but
It could be fun. Unfortunately, that
definitely
one, I
fun.
think, puts a bit on the DM
yes.
to make that character interesting for the player because the DM somewhat controls those.
Right. The only thing that I would have is maybe just the player just has to kind of come up with ideas of things that their little guys might do. The technical term for that.
Yeah.
And just kind of say like, oh, at this point, my Quasit is going to go and do something nefarious and like kind of bring it up themselves.
That's exactly how that mechanic was designed. I'm going to have my Quasit do something nefarious. And DM has a license like, oh, he steals some apples, or he overthrows the government of the Eastern Kingdoms, institutes an autocracy,
This Familiar is awesome.
horrifying pogroms in the streets, thousands dead.
What was that word you used?
Pogrom.
I'm not familiar.
Generally speaking, it's like an ethnically targeted cleansing. Maybe the closet's like, you know what? I hate wood elves.
I'm
So
wish I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Well, you asked, but I wish
Yeah.
you didn't ask.
Yeah, boy.
So that's what you get when you
Dangerous
just
material there.
when you just say, "Go ahead, DM, do something a little bit nefarious."
Well, okay, when I was saying that, it was I don't feel like coming up with things closets would do right now. But the person should obviously have plans in place. Otherwise, it will commit ethnic cleansings, I guess. Don't let Will DM. He's a mean DM, I guess.
No, that's fun. That's a new quest. Stop your closet.
From ethnic cleansing.
I mean, God.
It feels like that's putting a lot on your closet. I mean, they're not that great.
No, you can really just be like, okay, I kill the thing that has 5 health, and we just
Right.
move on. I just
But
get a
it's
new
your
one.
familiar. It comes back. I think you have to resummon it.
Yeah, you could probably ask really nicely for a new one if you've got like a good relationship with your pack or your patron.
With your devil you made to deal with to get the closet in the first place.
More than one way to skin a warlock. You don't need to just sell your soul to the devil. You
true.
can find information in an old book and have it from some weird eldritch being who you then communicate to, hey, my closet's kind of a dick. Do you mind giving me a new one? And
I gave you that closet because it's a dick. Call me when you're like level 17.
Well, if you're going that old eldritch horror route thing, with those actually, it's more like it accidentally gave you one.
A lot
So
of
you
times.
you can't really ask it for another one. It's probably not aware of your existence.
I like the idea of warlocks can fall in love with their patrons. And not because it's romantic, but just more mixing it with the ranger of them going out and killing like celestials because that's like what they think is going to be their patron's favorite thing. And they're like, oh, this is get me into their good graces. I'm just going to murder every celestial ever. That'd be fun.
That'd be a very, very difficult task to achieve.
It would in really every celestial.
Yeah.
All right, well, turn it off. Let's start a campaign, guys. This is my new goal.
Yeah, I think celestial counts gods.
Yep,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's
There is a lot. Also, the celestial subclass for warlocks, it would count them. So you got to kill other warlocks.
That one sucks.
They don't count as that.
no,
But
they don't.
That's the worst subclass for warlocks ever made.
you think?
Celestial?
Yes.
They don't fit the classic warlock flavor, but I don't think they're too bad mechanically.
What was we were talking about one the other day that is just like absolute garbage. One of their things. Is it the level 6 Radiant Soul? Resistance to radiant damage. When you cast a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, you can add your charisma modifier to one radiant or fire damage roll of that spell against one of its targets. That's so boring.
Yeah, that doesn't come up much.
No, that comes up all the time. Minus the resistance. You could add a very moderate amount, or let's not say moderate. Let's say, call it what it is. A trivial amount of damage to specific spells that warlocks weren't meant to use anyways.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That one's not that great. Bonus cantrip. Light and Sacred Flame.
Plus, it ruins the fun. It's like, oh, where'd you get your powers? Good. That's not warlocky. That's what clerics exist for.
Their healing light is pretty good.
What is that?
You get it at first level. You have a pool of D6s that you spend to fuel healing. The number of dice is your 1 plus your warlock level.
Right.
As a bonus action, you can heal one creature you can see within 60 feet, spending dice from the pool. The maximum number of dice you can spend at once equals your charisma modifier. Roll the dice you spend, add them together, and restore the number of hit points.
Yeah, I actually really like that one. It's like a lay on hands with a bit more interesting mechanics on it.
Yeah.
I will say lay of hands is nice because it's no rolling. You can just kind of choose.
Right.
This could turn out really poorly if you're like, I roll 3 dice, you get 3 health. Haha, that sucks. I mean, that's a really big difference between 18 and 3.
Right.
So I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. Then Celestial Resilience, 10 hit points for you and your whole party to start the day, which is kind of nice.
But it's so few. Your warlock level plus your charisma modifier. No, that gets good. At 10th level, you're already going to have at least 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty good for everybody. Wow, that's actually really good.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 hit points never seem to go very high, but that'll absorb
Half your warlock level. Sorry, half your warlock level. So it starts at most. Like,
Wait, what? No, these temporary hit points equal your Warlock level.
oh, those
Plus
creatures.
charisma
Oh,
mod.
the other creatures. Those creatures each gain temporary hit points equal to half your Warlock level
okay.
plus your charisma modifier. So you get 14. They get like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
It's still really good. I'm not going to argue that. I mean, that's a total healing, pre-healing of up to 5 creatures. So 30, like 40, 50 to temp HP that you're just adding on to start if you've got a full party.
All right, and then the Searing Vengeance is really cool. So it's not till 14th, but when you have to make a death saving throw, you could just choose to spring back to life at half your HP. Yeah, and then you stand up if you so choose. And each creature of your choice that's within 30 feet of you takes 2d8 plus your charisma modifier and radiant damage when you do this, and is blinded.
I know it's UA and a totally different class, but I liked the Phoenix Sorcerer version
Right.
of that so much more, where you just basically explode and everything in a 30-foot radius takes like... Do you remember? It was like a fireball, right?
It was a mini fireball.
Yeah. Oh, that one was good. So, I mean, yeah, that's cool. You just shouldn't be going down, though.
Sure, you shouldn't, but people do all the time.
It would
No, Kevin, I don't think I've ever actually lost all my hit points in a D&D campaign.
ever. You need to step your game up.
You're pretty dumb if you're losing any hit points. You should avoid that entirely.
Hit points aren't a resource.
Just don't get hit ever.
Easy enough. Good strategy. Do not get hit.
This from the cleric with a 22 AC. And it's only going up.
Is it up to 22?
Oh, it's close.
Yes.
I think it's 21.
I think it's 21, but I also think my armor's broken, so it's going to go back up to 22.
Yeah.
Oh.
That sounds right.
Oh, the oozes.
Friggin' oozes, man.
Oozes are great.
I don't agree. And
You don't like fighting the oozes?
no, I don't like it because they're very punishing with their mechanic. For people who don't know, oozes, when they hit, can decrease the quality of a material. So if you have plate, which is 18 AC, you get hit by an ooze, it drops it down to 17 AC. If it gets to -5, then it just destroys it outright. So that really sucks. If you're playing like a realistic campaign, then one, you have to find a way to repair your armor. We're currently in Out of the Abyss, so that's just not easy.
Just
except
in
for
the
the fact... In the Underdark, sorry. Yeah. So we have a Forge Cleric, which makes that a little bit easier as they can repair armor for basically free, just a couple gold. But any other party would just be so shit out of luck. And I mean, every single attack, if you hit them with a non-magical weapon, your sword's reduced by 1. If you get hit by hit and you have non-magical armor, boom, -1. And when you were fighting, the Grey Oozes, okay, not too bad, but the Black Puddings had that feature too, didn't they?
Yeah.
And those things hit hard. I mean, even for challenge rating 4, it just continues to F you over and over again. So I just feel bad as a DM throwing that against my party, unless it's like, and then you find a whole stash of the exact weapons and armor you just had, which kind of makes it a little weaker. Mm-hmm. Say that's not, I know we just fought them. I'm not like, why did you make us fight those? But that's just my overall thoughts on them, is I just don't like throwing them at a party. They feel a little bit overly punishing.
Hey, we literally just went over this. Don't get hit, loser.
Yeah, with the oozes, just I guess I don't see it as overly punishing. It's punishing, and a lot of D&D I think should be punishing. I don't think there's written rules of how to go about repairing armor, but I would allow it if there wasn't like a Forge Cleric or
right,
something
but
like that.
What about in the Underdark, when it's like, we don't have access to tools, we don't have access to cities all the time.
Right.
We might be going now a month without having our armor at full capacity, but we're still at that level. I mean, your only option is to not get hit, which, I mean, that's honestly not the worst advice, because that's telling your paladin that it's time to cast Sanctuary, and your cleric that they should be casting other magical means to keep things back and maybe keep a distance.
Right.
So, yeah, in a large area, that's great, but where do you fight oozes? Confined spaces where you don't have that option. I'm done with this rant. It doesn't need to go on, but just personally, I don't like them that much.
Nobody likes them. They're like kind of obnoxious. That's like the point.
Yeah.
But there are ways to be difficult without being obnoxious.
They're punishing to fight in a standard way.
Right.
which
That's all.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like to have to use my brain. Just throw goblins at me.
Yes.
I want a sliding linear scale of a number of goblins I get. That's the only challenge I can handle. If you make it harder, I'm going to start getting a headache and yelling.
Roll over a 10, I kill the goblins. Roll under a 10, goblins kill me. That's all I want.
That's the D20 system. If you're like really down on D&D, that's what you actually believe. 10 and higher, win. 10 and 9 and lower, lose.
Wow, that's a really poor way of looking at it. Especially
that's
when
just to make your own adventure at that point with a little bit of randomness.
Well, no, he's saying that's like the way that they will trivialize it. Like, oh, D&D is just rolling a D20, and if you get over a 10, then you win.
Oh.
But that's not even a little bit true. That's why there's different levels of difficulty on the difficulty challenge.
The difficulty challenge?
Challenge rating.
No, DC.
DC?
Like when you're trying to make a saving throw?
Yeah.
Okay.
The save DC. Difficulty challenge.
Difficulty challenge. I thought that didn't stand for anything.
Why would it be DC if it didn't stand for anything?
What's AC stand for?
Armor class. We're doing a D&D podcast. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Do you know what HP stands for, Will?
No.
It's either hit points or health points.
You know what's funny, though?
Health
They
potion.
actually have a little guide at the beginning of almost every single campaign book that says, like, these are the shorthands and what they mean.
Yeah,
so
that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine, but that's just really showing how dumb you are.
What are some other ones?
What
does D&D stand for?
Dungeons and Dragons, obviously, Kevin.
All right.
I honestly was stumped on that. I'm sorry.
It's the only thing we ever do is fucking Dungeons and Dragons.
There's not been a single dragon in our current campaign.
There rarely are.
Oh, there was. Shit, you guys didn't fight it, but Thumbershawd.
Thumbershawd, the new ruler of Gracklestig.
That was fun. I liked that.
Spoilers.
Well, that's the way you guys took it.
Yeah.
It's not how
Spoilers
it has to go.
if anybody ever replays our exact version of this campaign.
That's actually kind of it goes two ways. Like a lot of times with campaigns, you can't spoil something, but at the same time, I've seen some spoilery stuff. You can give solutions to laid out problems that kind of ruin the fun.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful about it.
Right.
I know we kind of make an effort to not particularly go into details on like published campaigns.
Yeah, for good reason.
Yeah. Back on Ranger Warlock.
Yeah,
I did have one more character concept.
Go for it.
This doesn't have to specifically be Ranger, but I'm going to force it on the Ranger because we're really light on ideas here. But I think it actually does kind of just happen to fit nicely with the Ranger, just because usually the kind of stereotypical Rangers like that Aragorn type from like Lord of the Rings, where kind of the chaotic good, just try and do the best they can in the world, honorable and all that. And they come off as like a reasonable person. They're not like this lawful good paladin, lawful stupid or anything like that. So you have that Ranger, and that's who they are in this world. And they, for whatever reason, make a pact with some sort of celestial being.
Bean.
I can't. Am I still saying bean?
You said bean like 4 times this podcast.
Why the fuck did I
don't know.
agree to do a podcast?
I was just ignoring it. You can move on.
Yeah.
Incestual guardians.
Check out episode 2 or 3 to get that joke, because I'm just that bad about it.
It keeps going.
I don't think we have any barbarians coming up, so I should be safe for a while.
From the incestual guardians.
All right, so
Making an ass of myself.
incest beans.
Sorry, yeah, you were
You had
going
a
somewhere
point.
with this.
What?
Yeah. So you have that chaotic good, kind of down-to-earth guy who's a ranger who makes a pact with a celestial entity.
Better.
There we go. And it's too strong for this person. It almost seems to override their personality. They become that really strict, unbending, lawful good person, where it becomes this kind of conflict. It's like, is this even still them, or are they just a vessel for this entity, or anything like that? It could be, if you're getting bored of a character like halfway through a campaign, it's a really good way to switch it up without just abandoning everything. I know we've done that a few times. It's always a little annoying for the DM. I'm sorry, Jared.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So one way to handle it, and then you kind of have the unique character development. I'm not going to necessarily say growth. That could be the opposite of growth, but then you have this new entity now that you need to deal with in the party.
I really wish we could do a more freeform campaign that allowed for more character building. It's always a really difficult thing, just DMing in general. I like the idea of character building. I like a character having growth throughout a campaign, but sometimes it seems like the focus is just what the campaign is throwing at you. Mm-hmm. And that always sucks. I feel like that's something we have not been super great at, is finding a way to get a balance in there. All I've ever really tried doing is just putting in like little side quests and things, being like, hey, this relates to your character, so like something should happen. And it's, up to the PC to really take that and run with it.
Right.
I just wish there was a way that we could just be like, all right, you guys exist in this world, and every once in a while there's something happening, but the main driver should be your goals. Maybe that's just the people I'm playing with, but
it's the style of campaign we keep doing.
Right.
You can absolutely do that. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
We seem to kind of gravitate towards the epic stories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every published campaign is going to be an epic story that far outstrips any character that you'd ever create.
Right.
Demons invading the Underdark is always going to trump your long-lost brother.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I really would like to move towards that at some point where it's a bit like, you start off and the only thing that really matters for your character is, like, you need to have a goal. You need to be goal-oriented and you need to work towards something. And it's up to you to talk to the party and be like, hey, I need your guys' help because I need to go to this warlock in the tower because he killed my brother and I need to murder him. Whatever, just like the characters need to
but the
move
warlock
plot.
is his brother.
Oh, no.
Spoilers alert. Spoiler alert, unless you might have that coming up.
What?
Warlock brothers.
Ooh, we just made that up.
Yeah, I know we just made that up.
So how are you spoiling it?
All right, man. I'm just warning people. All right, but yeah, I guess another problem is that you are looking at this situation where you are dependent on your players, and most people, like half the people that play D&D, are like barely checking in. They're not really. A lot of people are not up to the level of making a D&D podcast or creating characters with backstory.
Yeah, I think it's been really fun though. I've been trying to like actually stick to how a character would play and like really doing the role playing thing, and it's so much more fun. Like, I mean, I want to be engaged the entire time. I want to pay attention. People on their phones, it just makes me lose my mind. It really does.
No phone posting or fucking around with your phone when you're playing D&D. That's common etiquette. Everyone focus for 8 hours.
Is this our way of calling out someone particular?
They're not going to listen. It doesn't matter.
They're not going to listen. Okay.
Everybody does it. Everybody does it at least once.
Yeah, I really, really try not to.
No, my main issue is if I'm like either looking something up or looking at spells and missing things that are happening, which has happened before.
Yeah, like I have an app for spells, so I'll go on my phone for that or something.
But I mean, I'm here doing a D&D podcast. When I'm playing D&D, let me tell you, there's nothing more important than what's going on at that table.
Do you have anything else on that Celestial Warlock?
No, that was it. You guys didn't really seem to like it. No one responded.
It's just like a weird release valve for like, I made a character with a shitty personality. And now I'm looking for a way out.
Which is fair. It happens. I would honestly rather that than going the other direction, which is, hey, my character doesn't want to party with you guys anymore, which is a fun way to say it. They don't want to hang.
Yeah.
And then just making something new. Because new characters suck. You should change the character you've got instead.
I mean, not necessarily. It just depends.
No, I don't think any of the things we've just said are even remotely true. They are just total exaggerations.
Yes.
But there is... I don't know.
I'm here to make giant sweeping statements, not be correct about things.
All right, Kevin, you're wrong. Whatever you said, that was wrong, incorrect.
Just in general.
On a binary level, that was a 0.
So I'm going to give this one additional thing. If anybody... Oh God, anybody listening has a better idea for a Ranger Warlock multiclass, I would love to hear that on a personal level. Jared Bornagle, you can email me, mail me, anything. Oh God.
You can just come to his house.
Come to my
Middle
house.
of the night, knock on his window. Hey, what about like...
You got nothing. See, you got nothing.
You drove all the way here and did nothing.
So with that...
All right. A Warlock traditional warlock, edgy, make edgelord type guy, and he sells his soul to a devil or gets in contact with some other eldritch horror and gets these powers, and he gets shunned from his hometown for it. And he lives a life of solitude out in the wilderness, and needs to learn to survive as well, because the boon he get from his patron is not enough. Because I could cast Eldritch Blast and see in darkness, but I don't know how to skin a squirrel or hunt a deer or what mushrooms will kill me versus give me a good time.
Congrats, you went one level into Ranger and wasted everyone's time.
Yeah, you still suck.
Honestly, that's getting a proficiency in the survival skill.
Yeah, right.
Not multiclassing into Ranger.
Yeah.
I devoted myself to a special kind of combat just to learn how to skin squirrels and identify mushrooms. That's week 2 of Ranger School. You don't have to go for the entire course.
Fine. The devil that they're getting their powers from needs them to protect a particular area in the wilderness that's important, some sort of long-term plan that's beyond what you would understand. It's like the hunter. Oh, don't give me that look. It works. like the hunter subclass or something, where you are now the protector of this area.
Okay.
For a devil or whatever.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think they'd be like, also, you shouldn't go with these two things. They don't work very well together.
Stick with what you're good at.
Yeah.
I'll go hire a different ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Let's hire two different people.
I'm literally the devil. I can afford to hire people.
Or they just see that you're most of the way through the Ranger class, and they're like, oh god, I need your help, and I need you to also be useful. You're a Warlock now.
That's exactly how it works. Devil out of nowhere starts shooting you with Warlock lightning.
Yeah, this is the one time I wish we were recording, because we had some really great hand motions there. Just force blasting it directly, and now you're a Warlock, bitch.
All right, I think we're done with this.
Sounds like
I'm done
it.
with that.
All right.
I was done with that a long time ago.
We keep getting Rangers on our rolls.
Roll better, man.
Yeah, just to have these discussions. If it wasn't obvious, I think we mentioned it a couple times. We randomized our multi-class, night before, a couple days before. 2d12s, roll them, count down the list. Ranger keeps coming up.
So let's move on into the monster of the week. Kevin, you're presenting this one?
Am I? Oh, God.
I'm not presenting it.
Damn it, we never think about that. No. All right, welcome back. So today we're talking about the Neothelid.
There you go.
All right, Neothelid. This is a giant mind flayer tadpole. So first things first, the mind flayers obviously have some really weird history to them that I feel like we need to dive into as a whole at some point. But the Neothelid is one specific subset of that. I guess they have a colony of tadpoles. Who needs to talk? And every once in a while, when a lithid society collapses, they might leave these tadpoles.
Tadpoles.
Damn.
Again. The pool of tadpoles.
Yeah, they leave the pool of tadpoles just lying around. And even though normally they'd kill them when they get to a couple inches, these ones just get left alone. Driven by their hunger, they turn to devouring each other and get to just huge sizes until only one remains. And it becomes the challenge rating 13 Neothelid. So, not too much here when it comes to the stat block. I had maybe 1 or 2 ideas of ways to work this into a campaign that could be interesting, and I really just wanted your guys' opinions on it. I think it might be really stupid.
It usually is. So let's hear it. So we can tear it apart.
Okay, sounds good. My first thought from this is, throughout it kind of mentions that it's a little bit much for mind flayers. Like, they don't even want to deal with these giant creatures because they're just like, holy shit, way too hard. Do you ever see a scenario where mind flayers are like, we need outside help? I know, this is tough. This is a stretch.
This is where I would say absolutely not.
Okay.
Any interaction with a mind flayer and mind flayer society, it's never going to be on equal grounds. They will always look at you as, a source of brains or a slave. So unless you were doing kind of a goofy approach to it, like the worst mind flayers ever, they're like, ha ha ha, our wards, you are forced to kill the Neothelid, ha ha ha. And of course, we'll be paying for all the expenses, yeah. You just got to get rid of that thing. It's screwing with us real bad.
Okay. All right. So then, I guess, do you guys view anyway this could be thrown into a campaign? Because it does actually mention that usually the Elithids will form hunting parties to take these things out. So, I mean, it's in a book, so they obviously think that for some reason, by say they, I mean the people who make D&D, that there is some way that this thing could be thrown into a campaign. I'm honestly having a hard time seeing it.
It's a monster. Monsters live in caves.
Yeah, but like
you don't need a story for this thing. This is a very generic monster. This is an accident, more or less. This is like the biggest koi carp in the pond. It's like, who let that happen?
But it's a giant gargantuan worm with tentacles out of its mouth.
So yeah, you can just throw it you literally can just throw it at the party. It's like, oh, we're walking, looking for food. Neothelid. There doesn't need to be a backstory. He's got an intelligence of 1.
3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It could just be kind of one of the set piece random encounters where it's just set up to be a neat fight. It is gargantuan in size, which is just massive. That's the size category where it no longer has an upper limit. It's just the catch-all, anything above, huge? Why am I drawing a blank there?
Giant? Huge?
Colossal?
Colossal sounds right.
There you go. Yeah, gargantuan's the top one.
Monolithic.
Right? Does it go higher than? Did I just lie?
Are we? Oh, you're looking for
there's
size categories.
Yes, there's literal size categories.
Doing synonyms for the word big.
Well, good job on that, bud.
Yeah.
You keep it up.
Yeah. So you could do that, and then it's big, it's tough. AC 16, 325 hit points. There's no way you're going to surprise it. It has this creature sensibility where it'll recognize anybody, I think, within a mile of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it just knows that has an intelligence of 4 or higher, so any average party. Unless Jared's in it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Okay, so I mean, then it could be just a generic, like, oh, it's terrorizing our village, we need help, and just goes from there.
I mean, and it's dangerous to fight. It's plus 13 to hit, 15-foot reach with its tentacles, 3d8 plus 8 bludgeoning damage, plus 3d8 psychic damage.
So what if
then you get swallowed by it.
Yeah, the swallow is always good stuff.
Scary.
So, okay, how about this? It's coming together. So you've got a party. You find out from whoever that this giant Alaskan bullworm is terrorizing the surrounding caves or whatever. So it's up to you guys to then go out and hunt this monster. But along the way, you keep running into mind flayers. Now, parties are not normally going to know what the hell these things are. So you're getting into these altercations with mind flayers and have to hopefully find out more and more about it. Maybe start interrogating the mind flayers, figure out what the hell they are. Again, you're never going to get to that point where you're buddies with the mind flayers. I will accept that. But then
unless
you just have
Critical Role.
What? Is that a thing?
I don't really watch Critical Role. I gave it a shot for like a couple episodes, and I remember, it was there was like a mind flayer character. I don't know how it not a PC, like an NPC.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how that progressed though, but sure, whatever.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Either way, then you have to like kind of have a hunting party against this thing that is obviously a huge, terrifying beast to take down. So that's one way.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to stay in the Underdark. I mean, it's this. What's its speed? It doesn't have a burrow speed, but I mean, it can absolutely find its way out of the Underdark. There's no sunlight sensitivity or anything like that.
Right.
So then you have this massive gargantuan worm just terrorizing the countryside, threatening cities, and again, just something to go take care of. But it does suffer from what a lot of things suffer in 5e is the action economy is not in its favor. It does not lend itself to have things fighting with it.
Right.
It kind of seems like it's just going to devour anything that's near it. And it doesn't, even though it's kind of from a mind flayer, like it's an illithid in a sense, it does not have any enslaving abilities or anything like that. And so if you have like a party of level, it's challenge rating 13, a party of 4 level 10s, 9s, maybe even 8s, they kind of just destroy this thing by itself pretty quick. It's just a lot of health to get through.
I think 8s would actually have a hard time just because of that swallow ability.
Yeah.
And how much damage you would take. I mean, 10d6 acid damage at the start of each of the Neothelid's turns. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous, and it has to take 30 damage. It's
internally.
Not internally, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible to deal 30 damage at level 8, but it is going to be a little bit difficult.
That's true. It'll be tough. Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be a pretty epic fight, even with 5v1. It also has some interesting innate spellcasting. And when I say that, I just mean levitate.
Yes,
at
I
will.
love that.
So, I mean, this thing is the size of a large building, and it can just levitate at will, but not by its own volition, really, because it's not intelligent enough to think, oh, I should levitate right now. I feel like it's just kind of like, I don't know, I want to go higher, so I just start levitating. But why? I mean, it's, what, levitates 20 feet?
I thought it was 10, but it doesn't really matter.
Just regardless. I mean, if it went just 10 feet up and then just dispelled levitate, do you fall slowly?
I think,
you can't
use this to destroy stuff like that.
Okay, good. That's honestly, I'm fine with that. But it's still just, what? Why?
Oh, no. It's levitate actually has a limit of 500 pounds. You cast levitate on someone else.
Oh, that's even weirder.
It's a form of crowd control. We don't use it too much. I think there's better spells for it. But yeah, you could cast it on yourself and you levitate and get whatever. Or you could cast on someone else and they have to make a saving throw to not be levitated. Remember with levitate, you can't move from your own volition. You can't like swim around.
Right.
You can't fly around. The person who cast it controls if you move up or down. So they just pop you 20 feet up in the air and then you're just floating there. You have to be able to push off of something or...
Okay. I mean, that's reasonable enough. But could you imagine using one of these things' attacks on levitate instead of its like actual tentacle attack?
No.
It's kind of just silly. I mean, it's other stuff. It's got feeble mind, which is terrifying and a half. Telekinesis, which is better, levitate, and confusion. Pretty good. Those three, I like them. Those are good spells.
1 a day each.
1 a day isn't bad. It's got, high wisdom or good enough wisdom. But those tentacles, that's where the real fight begins.
Mm-hmm.
And acid breath. I mean, it's just weird. It's a very weird creature. I think that's what drew me to it.
It's got okay back lore, but as like what it is it's got kind of vague dragon mechanics. It's got the swallow mechanic. Mm-hmm. What is it though? Everybody, let's do a little test. If you saw that, what would you call that?
Purple worm.
I'd call it a purple worm.
I already used mine. It was Alaskan bullworm.
That is an Alaskan bullworm, but it's also a purple worm. Do you know what a purple worm is? Almost identical to this monster, with minor adjustments, and no Neolithic backstory.
Neothelid. Yep. And it's a lithid. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, this is like an off-brand purple worm.
That works really well if you have a Mind Flayer campaign.
Yeah, it's like, oh, why is there a purple worm here? It's like, I don't know. Why is there this thing? Because there's Mind Flayers about.
Okay, all right, secondary thing. So it comes from a collapsed Illithid society. So that'd be good if you were just exploring and came across this collapsed Mind Flayer society and you're like walking around and you're like, oh, wow, look at all this cool stuff. And then giant purple worm. That is kind of terrifying. It'd make a good random encounter in that.
Yeah.
If you were really high level.
So we blah, 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 blah. Again, I cannot speak. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to do a podcast. What are some things we could add to this? So it has the kind of same hunger for brains as a Mind Flayer does and senses anything with 4 or higher intelligence score. So it's so big, it's so good at just killing things and wrecking havoc and keep everything away from it. I could absolutely see some creatures almost kind of being like parasitic to it, sticking by it, kind of like the lamprey on a shark type deal.
Okay.
So that could add some variety to it, so you're not dealing with the everybody just beat up on the big thing, because those are usually uninteresting fights.
Yeah, I'd have I'm sure there are other things. I mean, you could even almost throw in intellect devourers if you wanted to. If we're going with like collapsed Illithid society, maybe just like some intellect devourers stayed around. And
That'd be scary.
How smart are they, though?
Intellect devourers?
Yeah.
Not very. I mean, they have average intelligence.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I think the best friend, quote unquote, for this monster would be something really stupid.
Yeah.
Ooze.
That it can't even detect.
Just like an army
ooze,
of
that is
oozes.
ooze. Their intelligence are 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's actually a good point, though. Anything with a low intelligence is really going to do it. I don't think ooze works just because they're garbage. Don't throw oozes at me. No, I actually don't think they work just because it doesn't fully make sense to me. I just don't see the connection. But I'm sure there are things with low intelligences that would just hang around and be more leeches.
Oozes would be great for that role, to be honest.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because they're dumb. They're dumb as hell, so they wouldn't get eaten. And they would just, like, kind of pick up the scraps, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know what? That is interesting. So what do oozes just want to eat, right? They just like...
Yeah, consume.
Yeah, just consume. Okay, so you could almost have it where, like, this thing is just so mindlessly consuming that it's leaving so much matter in its wake that there's just a horde of oozes following it up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Definitely.
I like that. I like that.
Like an average beast, what are their intelligence? I want to say it's 3.
It really depends. It goes from 1 to 3.
Which means it's below this. So like if it comes out in the woods, it's like a pack of wolves.
Why would they follow
The
it,
same
though?
reason that oozes. It just like wolves are. I know wolves are kind of like that. They have that image of being like the alpha predators and all that, but they're also kind of scavengers too. Like they don't literally chase down and heroically hunt everything they kill. To come across a corpse, they'll eat the corpse.
Okay, this is really upsetting. So can we just take a minute? Because I didn't know that. I thought they were that badass.
Yeah.
Think about dogs. They eat anything, and that's.
But dogs are not the noble wolf.
No,
But
they're
they
not the
come
noble.
from it. That's where that's
Yeah,
from.
and they're
They have
worse. That's why they're
Yeah,
worse.
they have a scavenging instinct from wolves.
So let's not besmirch the good name of wolves and make them dogs. Or how about coyotes? A pack of coyotes.
Sure. Back at
Because we were talking about that. The action economy is not in this thing's favor. So how do we fix that? 19
coyotes.
to 20 coyotes.
That's basically what it comes down to. Like, if you're fighting a challenge rating 13 something, there's barely any beasts with that low of an intelligence that are going to be able to pose a threat.
That's here. A dire wolf has an intelligence of 3, so it would be safe.
Yeah.
Like this thing doesn't even have. It can't see. It's blind sight, and it detects things of 4 or more intelligence.
How about a purple worm?
Giant spider has a 2.
That would actually be a really good epic fight, though.
Lion has a 3. I mean, have beasts just tag along with
All
it.
of these seem strange.
What?
They just don't, I don't know, something, I feel like they'd be more in the run the hell away from this category than they would be in the mindlessly
Yeah, I
follow
think
it
only the
category.
ooze actually fits that. Because the ooze does not have that sense of, hey, I'm in danger. It's an ooze.
That's fair.
There was a type of bat that I dealt with the other day. And it's basically a vampire bat. And I'm trying to remember what that's called, but that would be pretty good. I'm sure there's stuff.
It don't matter. But
That's a good way to think about it, though. Is
you
find-
can't just throw cave monsters all around this thing. It
Right.
is a cave monster.
I think we're good.
Yep.
So this was a podcast where we talked about 2 topics, none of which we're all that thrilled about. What great material.
A reminder that Volos is literally just a bestiary full of stuff that they decided was not worthy of the monster manual. In this book is almost all monsters that have an identical, cooler version of themselves in the monster manual.
I want to say you're wrong, but I'm just looking through the stat blocks by creature type, and it's so true. They even have giants, and it's just cloud giant, smiling one. So it's just a cloud giant variant. I mean, all of these are just
It's just add a little spice. The big thing of Volos is the stuff at the beginning where it does a deep dive into particular races and then gives you new playable races. The beastry in the back is like
it's just.
I mean, it has the more detailed illithids, which are cool, like an elder brain,
think-
stat block and stuff, which is cool. You could definitely build an entire campaign around illithids. They're
Right.
pretty scary shit.
I almost wish that those were just saved for Mordekainen's, though, because Mordekainen did just a much better job of that all around.
Yeah.
Or it went the same route as Mordekainen and had, here's these. You fought those.
Did we?
Yeah. Corrids.
Yeah. I guess no one could see what we're doing. I'm just flipping through Volos, and got to the Corrid on page 168, and just this dopey little weird looking thing
With dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't talk about that right now. But yeah.
So I guess I think Volos is focused on lower level content. You're right.
not,
It
though.
has
I mean,
variations of stuff that exists in the monster manual or now Mordekainen's, but it's variation in the sense where it can be fought by a 5th level party. You don't need to be 15 to fight this cool shit.
Yeah.
And then again, it gives more kobolds, it gives more goblins, stuff like that.
Right.
Just different variations of stuff you fight at those low levels.
Right. Because
I get
that's
respect
where most campaigns are anyways. So.
But from the context of a podcast looking to put a spotlight on standalone, interesting monsters, I guess Volos is probably not the best source. That being said, the next 3 podcasts we have planned is all from Volos. So
We're trying, damn it. Otherwise, it's just going to be Mordekainen's for the rest of forever.
When's the Nilbog episode?
we didn't have that. Yeah, we haven't picked the Nilbog yet, but that one's coming.
Soon.
The Nilbog's pretty cool.
Best monster in the book.
You'll have to tell us all about it. Why didn't you offer that as a suggestion to talk about?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Next time on Monsters and Multiclass.
Next week, we're going to talk about the Paladin Rogue multiclass and the Nyoki from Bolo's Guide to Monsters. What was
Nyogi.
Nyoki?
it called? Nyogi?
No,
Mr.
Nyoki. The
Nyoki?
pasta, yes. We're going to talk about the pasta.
Gnocchi.
Gnocchi?
Neogi. Neogi. It was actually the page right before the Neothelid.
Right.
I guess that kind of gives some insight into how we find these monsters.
Seriously, I moved some stuff around because every single thing was just, we went to one page and then went one back.
There's
And I was
just
like,
a lot of
God
cool
damn
stuff.
it.
I don't know. It's